You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Chrissie, and joining me is my co-host, Thad. Thad, how are you doing today?
I'm alright. Pondering possible futures, but mostly alright.
Okay. That can be tough, but also fulfilling. Yeah. All right, and we have a couple of guests today. Join with us is first Kevin Reitzel of Union Federation here on BQN, and also on
Fandom Podcast Network.
Fandom Podcast Network. Thank you. I drew a complete blank there. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just kind of wishing that I could do some... I like to do an old-fashioned barbecue cookout with Pike. I think that would be ballin'. Just saying.
Oh my God, yes. Yes. I'm already hungry.
I have a feeling you would like have a different apron for each time, you know?
Honestly, I just want to make that egg and Parmesan pasta. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Maybe. I'm not much for the loose egg thing, but that's me. Anyway, and also joining us is friend of the network, Christos Giannaris. How you doing, Christos?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am not bad. I am mind blown over this episode of Strange New Worlds, and I am looking forward to talking about it with you guys.
Yeah, it's quite the episode.
Yes, it was. All right, well, before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly our associate producers, Justin Oser and me, I suppose I'll mention. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10 at patreon.com/BQN. And with a monthly subscription of $5, you can join our Meetings of the Hive Mind on the second Saturday of each month. Watch your Patreon messages for details. All right, so we just have a couple pieces of news that we're going to get into today. The first bit of that news is the massive amount of money that Paramount wants us to spend on Blu-rays over the next few months, which I probably will be doing. So we've got the original series motion picture 6-movie collection, which has everything. It is a 15-disc set, which is right now $125 on Amazon. For whatever that's worth, that's what I paid per season of TNG when it came out on Blu-ray 20 years ago, so take what you will from that information. Yeah, but it's going to have 4K for everything. It's going to have all the extra deleted scenes from Undiscovered Country and that. Final Frontier is remastered, but I have to assume that we aren't going to see the rock monsters, even though they could be put in digitally.
I'm guessing you'll probably be able to see the deleted scene, like you can with the special edition DVD, but it's not going to be included in the movie, unfortunately.
No.
The Star Trek 6, though, they do offer both the theatrical and the director's version, which we've talked about on this podcast before. The director's edition is better because it has Rene Auberjonois.
How funny would it be if they included the rock monsters from Galaxy Quest as a joke?
That would be the some other director's edition.
It's
something like that.
Yeah, it's Leonard Nimoy's cut of Final Frontier. It's like 3 minutes long.
You know, a little off topic, but I was actually just listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about Star Trek Nemesis, and they cut 50 minutes out of that movie.
Was that 50? 50?
50. It was a very long movie. And the deleted scenes are like 20-some minutes that are in the prior Blu-ray release. So that's a movie they can go back and if they wanted to make some sort of ultimate cut.
Okay,
you know, there's a market there.
That might help.
Deleted scenes on the Nemesis disc. They aren't 50 minutes long. There's a bunch of them, but we're still missing a lot.
We don't have it all.
Yeah.
So we'll probably we'll probably get all that, I'm guessing, when Picard Season 3 drops. At least not the 4K versions, at least.
That would make sense, and I think TrekCore has speculated that in their write-ups about these, that the 4K cuts of the TNG films will come out for Picard Season 1. We know that they have already done First Contact, because it's on Paramount+.
Oh, that's true.
It had that sort of secret release on Paramount Plus with no fanfare. But First Contact is in 4K on Paramount Plus. It looks amazing. Right now, it says it's only there through the end of July. So if you want to watch it, watch it. But that said, last month it said it was only there through the end of June. So it could change.
And it does look really good. So it's worth a watch if you have a 4K TV.
I mean, it's worth a watch regardless because it's one of the greatest movies of all time. But, you know.
Yes. Right. So we have that, and when is that coming out? Let me see here.
September something.
Yes, 6th of September. So 2 days before the anniversary, as it were. 2 days before Star Trek.
And also for people who, like me, bought the 4-disc set last year of 1 through 4, they are selling 5 and 6 individually, and the 6 individual will come with both versions. They are also selling the director's edition of Motion Picture individually. So thankfully, for those of us who already bought the set, we don't have to rebuy all of them again.
That's good.
But is it going to include Star Trek: The Captain's Summit? That this collection that I have here has all of the original ones. That's what I want to know.
That was pretty
Probably
good.
not, so I hold on to that one.
You make a good point there. I can't get rid of that.
See, I didn't get that set because I had bought the 50th anniversary original series set that had all the movies and the animated series and everything, and that was the 4th time I bought the movies, I think, if you count going all the way back to VHS.
So mine gets real complicated. Like I now have the full set, the full Blu-ray set, just because it was on sale one year and I just got it. Mm-hmm. But the first of the Blu-rays that I bought was in 2009, as riding on the coattails of the popularity of the 2009 film. They released a Blu-ray box set of 2, 3, and 4, calling it an epic. If they called it the Star Trek Motion Picture Trilogy, an epic story featuring Kirk and Spock.
I remember
seeing
that.
those. Yep.
Which I lost it when I saw that description, because of course they're trying to, capitalize on the popularity of the new movie. But I bought it, and so that made it complicated because then they never actually released Star Trek V by itself on Blu-ray. So for the longest time, they released 6 and they released Motion Picture by themselves. So I bought those. But for the longest time, I had all of them except 5 on Blu-ray because there was never a standalone 5.
Can't imagine why.
I don't know why. Nope.
Much as, I don't hate that as much as a lot of people do, but still, I can see where they wouldn't think they'd make the money on it. So.
But there is a standalone 5 on 4K, so...
Yes. So there you go. Yeah. That's better.
It is, yeah.
You just
because
had to wait.
Now I don't have to feel too bad about... I mean, I don't feel bad about buying the first 4 box set, because if I and other people hadn't bought that, then we might never have gotten these that they're coming out with this year, so... Because I think that was definitely a proof of concept to see if people were willing to buy the movies in 4K.
Yeah. A little cool side note, if you've ever bought the movies on iTunes, I bought 1 through 10 for $19.99. Those, when the 4 movies dropped in 4K last year, the first 4 movies upgraded to 4K on iTunes without you having to spend a dime.
Yes. Now
That's nice.
I caught that sale. I was like, yep, getting them all.
Now, the annoying thing is if you bought the 10-movie box set that came with the digital codes for iTunes, those don't get upgraded. Yeah. The only ones that get upgraded are if you purchased them through iTunes originally. And the really frustrating thing is there is no way to actually upgrade it because iTunes shows you already own this movie, so then you can't.
Oh no.
The only way to do it is to buy the 4K Blu-ray and input the codes from that, and that gets you the upgrade.
Interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a huge Blu-ray collection of just all sorts of movies. And yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the ones that I had from before iTunes offered 4K, when they first switched to 4K, a lot of those automatically got upgraded, but anything since then that's on regular HD Blu-ray will not get a 4K upgrade. Because they want you to... Because I assume it's a licensing rule, because like the studio doesn't want people who bought the HD Blu-ray to get a 4K copy of the movie unless they pay for it.
That sounds about right.
It's annoying, though.
Well, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what else is annoying and really is not going to affect whether or not I buy this. The art on the front of it has got, Kirk and Spock in the uniforms from Motion Picture, and then McCoy in a monster maroon, and I'm like, can we just... Why aren't they all in a monster maroon?
Well, the idea is it's like different people from different movies, because Scotty's wearing the bomber jacket from 4 and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Sulu's in the jacket. It's just,
The box is missing Savick, so I'm not happy.
Yeah, but...
Oh, they put Krug on there and Cybok,
you only had a 50% chance of it being your favorite Savick, so... I don't actually know who your favorite Savick is, but it applies regardless.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I probably, Kirstie as Savick was probably one of the first major characters I liked, because I think that was my first introduction to Star Trek.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just a little. But yes, that is my favorite Savick. I liked her playing it half Romulan, whereas Robin Curtis played it straight Vulcan.
Right.
Yeah, if only Kirstie had decent politics. That's another issue, though.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so there's that. There is this beautiful, 6 movie set. And then if you feel like spending another $100 on a movie that is already in the set...
Or available for $30 individually.
Yeah. Then you can spend that money on the super duper special director's edition complete adventure giant box for the motion picture.
Which comes with bumper stickers.
That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I like that. I won't be putting them on my car because, they'll get destroyed. So I'll be putting them, I'll probably be tacking them to my wall instead of actually sticking them on anything, because I'm that type of person with stickers. But what's fun about this, amongst many things, is that it's going to have the 1983 cut that was on the VHS edition, that if you got it in the early 90s, the set that when you put them all together, it had the Enterprise on the side, and they all had that awesome trailer for Star Trek VI on the front of them, and also that really goofy ad for going to your local rental store with the family.
I love those.
And then when they made Star Trek VI, it kind of...
Yeah, it didn't have the Enterprise, that it just expanded the space. Starburst.
Yeah.
My favorite part, I actually have the Astral Symphony CD, and it has that same image on the cover.
Nice.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I'll probably be buying that too. Those are going to be, when people ask me what I want for Christmas, that's going to be my answer. Those two things. So...
Yeah, I'm getting...
What do you guys think?
I'm not getting the $100 set. I think it's cool. It's more money than I need to spend. And I do have some nostalgia for that extended cut. It is the first version of the movie I saw. But also as a kid, I hated it. I thought it was the most boring thing I had ever seen. I have since grown to appreciate it as an adult. But... I don't necessarily think the extended scenes from that cut add to the movie, other than adding to the runtime.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I bought the set last year, so I'll probably buy we'll call it the $100 set, but you'll be able to get it for $60 or $65 when push comes to shove. Yeah. And I'll probably buy 6, and with 5, I can live with my iTunes digital upgrade.
Well, yeah, and the iTunes digital, so you'll get the 4K upgrade on it, because that's also something that we should point out to people is, even if you don't have a 4K TV, these also are getting regular Blu-ray releases, and they are a better version of the film than the ones from the mid-2000s. The ones from the mid-2000s suffered from a big issue of early Blu-ray releases where people where studios were convinced that audiences did not want to see film grain. So they would smooth all of these films to get rid of all grain and then run artificial sharpening on them. So the resulting picture is that, they don't look that great. And
Agreed.
These re-releases, even the HD versions of them, are much more accurate to the original film.
I'm fine with the ones I have now. It has to have something really kind of cool for me to get. I mean, I'm just happy though that they're releasing Blu-rays still because a lot of stores are not carrying them. Like Best Buy is getting sad to go to. The closest place to get new stuff is like Walmart and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, Walmart has more Blu-rays than Best Buy, which really annoys me.
Yeah, but I'm glad they're still releasing something. So yay to physical media, which I love dearly. So.
And the other thing is, if you subscribe to Paramount Plus, you can watch them there, and they'll look fine. They'll look good there because Paramount Plus now has 4K. So, I mean, we can't 100% guarantee they'll always be on Paramount Plus. The movies seem to sort of cycle in and out due to various licensing rules, but they will generally be available, and you can watch them there. And presumably, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably subscribe to Paramount Plus. So
one would think.
Yeah, that's another option.
If not, get with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, what do you just want spoilers for shows you haven't seen yet? Okay.
I introduced my dad to Paramount Plus when I was in Ohio a few days ago, and he texted me this morning, I just finished Picard Season 1. How come you didn't tell me about this sooner? I'm like, I did, Dad. I just had to physically come to your house and put it on your TV and show you how to use it. But he's catching up on New Trek and loving it, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
My dad introduced me to Star Trek, so...
My dad doesn't believe that Star Trek has had anything good since Voyager, so we don't talk about new Star Trek.
One of those.
Yeah.
Wow. Even Strange New Worlds.
He hasn't watched Strange.
He won't try.
And he won't try, yeah.
It's too bad. Right, okay, so that was... there's that piece of news. The other piece of news, did this just drop today, or was it yesterday? I can't remember.
I think it was today.
This was today, yeah. San Diego ComicCon... We're going to have a Star Trek Universe panel on the 23rd of July. That's the Saturday.
Woohoo!
Of the yes, Christos is going to be there.
I mean, I think it was a foregone conclusion they would be there. They've had a big presence at SDCC the last several years. I really hope this means we'll probably get a Picard Season 3 trailer.
How can we not?
I mean, the show's done basically at this point.
They're dragging Patrick Stewart, Gates McFadden, the showrunners, everyone's showing up for not everyone, but you're bringing Patrick Stewart. Let's just leave it at that. So you're going to have a trailer.
I suspect we'll probably also, at the very least, get a teaser for Strange New Worlds Season 2 and maybe something for Discovery. But I also hope...
have much.
There's no panel for Discovery.
But, that's what I'm saying, maybe. I also hope that if it hasn't already been announced, that they definitely will tell us when we're going to get Lower Decks Season 3.
I think that's where it's coming. But the whole cast of Lower Decks is going, too. So we'll probably you know what? I'm guessing, I bet you money, the people in the hall will see the first episode of Lower Decks Season 3. That's probably something they'll do.
Probably.
That sounds right. And then it'll come out like a week or two later.
Yeah, they'll announce it, the release
What
day.
about Prodigy? Would that drop? Do you think they would see something in Prodigy as well?
They haven't said there's going to be a Prodigy panel at all yet.
Well, if anything, maybe they'll announce that it's probably what's going to follow Lower Decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
The whole Lower Decks cast, including Eugene Cordero? Because
that's what it said in that.
Because
that
they
article.
were all at Mission Chicago except him. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll come on stage in cosplay like they did in Chicago.
I wonder that. I don't know. That came out of that whole random Twitter conversation from like 2 years ago. So I don't know if they'll do that again. But it was pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
I can say I can say, Christos, you're going to have a blast with the Lower Decks panel.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
So I'm just this whole thing is really coming together for me. First, it was I've got tickets for the 10 Forward experience, which I got to do a few months ago in LA when Picard Season 2 released. That was amazing. So I bought tickets for that. I'm taking my best friend who has not been to that yet. But then it was I'm attending. I got tickets just last night for Friday, Saturday. I'm affiliated with Gaze in Space, so they're like, well, come on down, we'll give you some passes. And then the very next day, today, they announced all this Star Trek, and like I said, I really am just tickled that Patrick and Gates are coming, because everyone knows I'm the biggest Bev head on the planet. So
I love Gates too. I think she's great.
I love her, and I love Beverly Crusher, and I really, from everything Terry Matalas is saying, this is going to be such a love for Crusher season that I just can't wait. So.
I hope so.
I think it's going to be great. I'm actually going to see Gates McFadden next week at Shore Leave.
Say hello. I actually explained to her what Blazing Bev was.
She didn't know? Oh,
she didn't know.
I love it.
And I got her to sign an autograph from Blazing Bev. So
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
That's like the guy that got Colin
Meaney
Meaney to sign a Chief O'Brien at Work comic.
Yeah.
Also very cool.
So we'll begin this little bit of a void that we're now going into post episode 10 of Strange New Worlds. We probably are going to go about a month and a half without a new episode.
Where we can relax.
Yeah, but we are going to probably get a lot of trailers and San Diego ComicCon news here in 15 days. So
that'll be good.
Yeah, and I think we'll get Lower Decks sometime in August, I suspect.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
I think it was August 12th last year because we were at STLV and we had a little watch party for it. I hope they don't drop it in the middle of STLV again. That was too much of a distraction. So
STLV's at the very end of the month this time, so there probably will be a new episode when you're at STLV, but it won't be the first episode of the season.
It won't be the first one, yeah. Oh, sorry. Mission 56, whatever they're calling it.
56-year mission. Yes. I'm sorry, the 56-year mission tour Las Vegas.
With 20 times the number of celebrities that were at Mission Chicago.
Yeah.
If you want to get technical, you can say the convention formerly known as STLV, and that way you can...
Yeah, but Mission Chicago showed us scenes from upcoming Star Trek, which they're not going to show at the 56-year mission tour Las Vegas.
I was an old school Pasadena Grand Slam guy.
That's nice.
I used to go to all the time.
There you go.
Loved those. Those were so much fun.
Well, that was the convention that eventually became STLV, right? Like, they moved it... Like, that was Creation's convention, right? That they ended up moving to Las Vegas.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. I just went to conventions at Holiday Inns in the 90s.
That was my experience. I think we talked about that once. But those were my first. Those were my first conventions, and then there was a long, about 20-year lull in there, and lo and behold, I don't miss them now.
Yeah, I've got. I'm not doing STOV this year, unfortunately, but I am going to Shore Leave next week, and then the week before STOV, I'm going to Trek Conderoga in New York, so that's going to be fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. Did you see they're building the TNG sets there now?
Mm-hmm.
I will make the trek when those are released.
They're not going to have it complete yet, but they're going to have some of it ready. And this year they've got Brent Spiner and Gates McFadden, so that's going to be
cool.
Yeah. Don't tempt me.
Very cool.
Oh, I'll tempt you. Although honestly it's too late because if you wanted to go, your closest hotel you would find is probably like Burlington, Vermont.
Well,
there's only one hotel in Ticonderoga.
I'm going to ComicCon and STLV, so I think I'm good. And Gates is apparently going to both, so there you go.
Gates is getting all over the place this year.
I'm going to take a moment here. All right, so Gates, in the last year, she started her podcast, which was amazing. Everyone's listened to that, right?
Oh, it's great.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it's amazing. Then she gets the job hosting the Center Seat, which is probably one of the best 10-part, 11-part documentaries I've seen in a long time. That's addictive, Then she gets, a guest spot on Prodigy, now she's going to be starring in Picard season 3. I mean, she's going to ComicCon. I'm like, Kate McFadden is kind of having a little resurgence here.
Yeah, for real.
Works.
I'm sad that she canceled the Star Trek cruise, though.
I know. For next year.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about, but I don't know.
Well,
we'll live.
Could be. Doesn't have to be anything negative. Could be fancy.
Michelle Hurd just got added to that, so I'm all about that.
Oh, I'm excited for
there
that.
you go.
Well, I want to drink with her.
I honestly wonder, she might have to do some of the premiere stuff for Picard Season 3, which may happen while we're on the cruise.
Unless we're watching a new episode. I don't know. Well, Michelle Hurd's going to be on it, though.
Right. What I'm saying is the reason Gates had to cancel is maybe she's contracted to do Picard Season 3 premiere stuff, and that might happen at the same time as the cruise, and that's why she can't do the cruise.
You. Well, I actually hope that we'll get that sooner, Season 3 sooner than February, but I think Brent Spiner may have slipped that in a recent interview, something about February. So, yeah.
Good to know.
It is February. We're going to have a little bit of a lull then, because Lower Decks and Prodigy aren't going to be enough to do between now and February.
Well, that's why I was kind of hoping that Picard might be a holiday type release, and make it maybe make it a bigger deal. So we'll see. They don't always know everything. So.
The Blu-ray release, I think, is in November. Yeah, I would say February is probably the latest it could be. Like, it couldn't be any later than that. Because the Blu-ray release is usually a couple months before the season to, drum up buzz or whatever. Yeah.
Well, we'll probably know the answers to all this speculation come 15 days from now, so...
Yes!
That's true.
Yes, we shall. And that brings us to a good spot where we can talk about this episode, because having spent 25 minutes talking about the news, I think we got a good hour and a half at least to talk about this episode.
I don't know. It wasn't that exciting. Nothing really happened this week.
No, nothing happened. Nothing. That's an X-Files episode. Nothing important happened today.
When you watch an episode and the words like "holy shit" come out of your mouth in more than one occasion, something's going down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Kevin, I'm going to start with you. Initial thoughts, first impressions, going into this episode. What's it make you feel?
I've really been enjoying this whole season, and it just felt like, this kind of burden or black cloud or monkey on your back that Christopher has had on his shoulder, or what have you, about his impending death. I like how we're getting a little teases to it in each of these episodes and how he's kind of dealing with it. And first impressions, I love this. And I got to tell you, I geeked out on the Monster Room big time. But it was interesting to kind of see a what if thing, and then some parallels, obviously, to some TOS episode. Just I love old school Romulans too. I've always been a big fan of Romulans in all Star Trek, especially in TNG, because they're just they're good bad guys, And it was really nice to see this, but it was great to obviously see Kirk enter the picture as well, but this is one of those things where I don't think he overshadowed Pike at all, or the performance of Pike, because you got a crucial diplomacy 101 right there with Pike in the Romulans, which is just fantastic.
Christos, initial thoughts. How you feeling about this?
Well, I loved it, and I'm of that generation that grew up on TNG and kind of always thought TOS was a little bit outdated, although I have more appreciation for it as an adult. So I'm watching this thinking, I'm loving every minute of this, but I bet you it's pissing some people off. If you're like a TOS, if that's your jam and I'm sure people were having a problem, but someone's always going to have a problem. I love the Monster Maroon. That was my first, oh shit. Was like, how am I going to get my hands on that? Because I thought that was actually an improvement over the movie Monster Maroons. At least a good update, maybe. Thad is like shaking his head.
We'll talk about that.
But, you know, the Romulans, the different take of what if, you know, on Balance of Terror.
Yep.
The visuals were just stunning. You understood, I think, why we had some bottle episodes. They were saving up money for this finale.
Yeah,
I just... my regret was that I didn't get a chance to watch it a second time before we started recording, only because I wanted to watch it a second time. It's that good. I'd give it 9.5 out of 10 if I had to give it a...
Awesome. All right. Thad.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll talk about the uniforms later, but I will say it's been a
Yes.
few weeks since I last complained about Starfleet uniforms. So, you know... It was due, yeah. So I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. The moment that we got to the wedding, I'm like, that's when that was my holy shit moment. I'm like, oh man, this is Balance of Terror. Oh god, This is awesome. Yeah. So yes, I loved it, start to finish. I mean, I have a few minor things as always, but This was Star Trek that had me glued to the screen from start to finish. I loved it. I think it was a fantastic way to end the season for Strange New Worlds. And my only regret is that we now have to wait an indeterminate number of months for more.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll agree with
Longer
you.
seasons.
Yes. Yeah.
If we do longer seasons, they won't look as nice as this episode.
It's gorgeous, yeah. Bottle episodes like the fairy tale. That's, you know, which was a good story, but, you know, it saved them a little bit of money.
Well, for me, I felt like this was it's tapestry and all good things all rolled up into one for Strange New Worlds, and it was just this whole but for the grace of the gods go we, you know, and to see Pike in a Monster Maroon, he came on the screen. And I looked at Jay and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then I got sad because he never actually got to have one. So it was bittersweet. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. And yeah, we'll talk about that uniform. I loved it though. I'm just blown away. It was like I sat back and went, wow, I have to think on this. I have to process it. There we go. See, listeners, we're recording this later in the evening than we usually do, and while I'm caffeinated, that doesn't mean I have all my words.
Well, I think that's kind of appropriate, though, because, like, by the time the episode was winding down, like, the moments with Spock and Pike at the end, I started crying. I was like, you know, and a good Star Trek episode will make me cry, but that wasn't the emotion I was feeling the whole episode. It was, you know, high stakes, you know, this was edge of your seat kind of stuff. And then, boom, at the very end, tender moment to finish it off. I was like, ah.
Well, let's start at the beginning then here. We start out at the neutral zone. And Pike's hanging around with his captain friend again. Ow, her name just escaped me.
Captain Bataille.
Yeah, there we go. So there's a nice bookend, beginning, end of season.
Now I don't remember.
I think it's Battelle.
Yeah.
Bataille is Patrick Stewart's son.
You're right. Well, Picard's son.
But played by Patrick Stewart's son.
Kamen's son. We should be.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So that's a nice little bookend, and I feel like we get a little bit of that foreshadowing when she says that he's playing the man out of time, and that was just beautifully done, because certainly the older Admiral Pike is the man out of time for that.
I love that Pike cooks with cast iron, because I truly could not imagine him using any other kind of pans.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
It's just that's a very in character thing for him to cook on like this, seasoned cast iron. It's probably like 300 years old, and I'm sure
the only way I buy that is because, like, in the first episode, we see him watching, what's the classic movie?
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah, the one Keanu Reeves remade. Yeah, we know, like a Tom Paris, he has this nostalgia for the 1900s or 20th century. So, all right, that's the only way I buy that he's using all that old stuff. So, 300 years later.
Okay, think about how many people are obsessed with their cast iron pans today in the 21st century. I guarantee there are a bunch of people in the 23rd century who are still just as obsessed with cast iron pans.
Fair enough.
I will accept that if we take it as a percentage out of the people who are actually cooking anything.
Right. Oh, yeah, for sure. But there definitely it's going to be smaller, for sure. But, like, I mean, the vast majority of people don't use cast iron today because, at the end of the day, nonstick is easier in most situations.
This is not what we saw in the galley in Star Trek VI.
Right. Oh, those were stainless steel.
I want to know what was in those mashed potatoes to keep them standing up like that.
I want to know how the phaser destroyed the pot, but not the potatoes.
I was getting hungry watching him cook. I always do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yellow food.
That pasta, I think I'm going to try making that because that looked good.
See, and I'm a vegan, so I'm always turned off by when they're cooking on screen. And I'm like, it's always like they've kind of established it as a Star Trek thing. Spock's a vegetarian. Riker had made some points about that in the past, but then he kind of backtracked on that with his squirrel pizza. I don't know.
All right, but like how would you feel? Like, I don't know how it is on the 23rd century, but certainly in 24th, most times, unless you're hunting bunnycorns, it's replicated meat or replicated animal.
Oh, yeah, and if it's replicated, I'm fine. Yeah, exactly. Or if it's, synthetic in some way, whatever.
Well,
I'll go with that.
Because I know there are some vegans that prefer not to eat meat substitutes because they view that as, like... I don't know
Christos,
how. I've tried to describe this without sounding condescending. I'm sorry.
No, I think they're just. I think they're ridiculous. Those kinds of substitutes would help me transition. So
fair enough.
Anyway,
yeah, no, and that's what I feel that it's ridiculous to say. Oh, you can't eat a meat substitute because it's as bad as eating meat. Like, I don't understand that logic.
There is such a thing as too woke.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's the what is it? The passion of the recent convert kind of thing, and then you moderate. But I'm a bit of a carnivore. I know it's not good for the environment.
Yeah, same.
It's all right.
Animals, but I
am never that person that pressures people about it. Like,
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could still.
I can absolutely like. I obviously have no, animosity towards someone who does not want to eat meat, but I like meat too much.
Yeah, and you could still make that pasta. Just use an egg substitute or don't have the egg, and then use vegan parm, and you're good to go. I think it was olive oil in the pan, so yeah.
Stop making me hungry.
Do that. All right. Yeah. And then we meet one of the kids. Not only one of the kids that's involved in the accident, but one of the two that's going to die.
Yeah, of all the... Yeah.
Yeah. How are we feeling about this? Or what are we thinking?
I like the fact that we saw a captain panic attack. I found that fascinating.
Yeah.
You don't see captains go through that type of thing that's now kind of becoming more of a well-known issue that people have, and where this is something that really was kind of looked at back in the days is something different. But I that's basically what that was, and I found that fascinating.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly the comment I was going to make. I liked how much it affected him, and he had to excuse himself, and and even Una knew, like, okay, he's not right.
Oh, yeah.
And, even Spock picked up on it, like, later on. But that gave it a lot more gravitas to me, that it hit him so hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was very much, it was good to see that Pike had that reaction. That said, I think that poor kid, he was so excited to meet his hero, only to have him like get up and walk out when he tried to talk to him.
I know.
Yes, I hope he ends up being able to spend at least a few minutes with the kid and be like, look, I'm sorry, my lunch disagreed with me. Just make up something for why he had to leave. Because otherwise that kid's going to hate him. Because that's what happens when you meet your heroes and they don't act nicely. And then I have to wonder if that's why he's killed, because maybe he doesn't want to listen to Pike. Yeah. And that's like doubly bad, because then it's like actually has something to do with Pike. And not his fault, but, that makes it worse. That's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down. Anyway.
I was going to say, I'm like trying to wrap my brain around what you just said there, and I'm like, I don't think I can do that.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I go terrible places. All right. So then Pike's in his quarters. He's going to try to convince him to not join Starfleet, but without making it look like he knows I don't know what he was trying to do there.
Like, how is he going to write a letter to this kid and convince him not to join Starfleet without, like, being a total dick? Well,
yeah.
Like,
without our temporal police, who would normally be coming in here at this point. I mean, they show up in other episodes,
Yeah,
where's Captain Braxton?
Yeah.
Admiral Pike got a dispensation from Boreth.
Yeah.
So, how bad is that war if the Klingons are okay with avoiding it?
It's an interesting point, yeah. Like, what did happen there? Like, how did the Klingons get involved in this war at all? You'd think the Klingons would, like, want to sit on the sidelines where the Romulans and the Federation fight.
Yeah, but remember where the Romulans and the Klingons got their birds of prey.
Maybe their problems on Praxis are starting now.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, good point. The Klingons may have been in the war on the side of the Romulans. I forgot about the Romulan-Klingon alliance during TOS, which is only a couple years later.
Yeah.
Which only happened because they broke the bird of prey model.
Yes, but that's all right. It works.
I love that bird of prey.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So cool looking. Yeah, so he's doing that, and then we have our Admiral in a shiny monster maroon.
All right.
I just want to say, we don't establish how far ahead he is. With the monster maroons, we don't have a specific date on the monster maroons other than the late 2270s, according to Memory Alpha.
I would say early 2280s, but that's just me.
Oh, well.
Okay, so the Star Trek movies...
But, yeah, our uniform guy here.
The Star Trek movies take place exactly 300 years in the future, basically. So, like, motion picture is 2279, I believe. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying, 2280s.
That's only about a year and a half after the 5-year mission of the TOS ended, right?
Motion picture? No, motion picture's a long ways after, yeah.
It's okay. So there's supposed to be another 5-year mission in there.
Yeah,
they come home and then they go back out, and then Kirk gets promoted, and then he spends a couple of years as admiral before he, takes the ship from Decker. So it's not quite 10.
So it's
and then there's almost a gap between a motion picture and
that's like 10 years at least. It's like 10 or 11 or something like that. I knew that. I didn't realize about the second 5-year mission. That's where I was.
Yeah, and I don't know I know that's put in the books, and I'm 95% sure it's been mentioned on screen canonically, but I can't say 100% certainty.
I know they got back from their mission. Kirk got promoted to admiral. The refit of Enterprise started. We know the refit took about 18 months, blah, blah, blah. So he'd only been, an admiral for about 2.5 years or something like that, and TMP, and then the big gap between... And somewhere between TMP and Wrath of Khan, the Monster Maroons go into service.
Okay.
So
yeah, all right. So I was we motion picture is sometime in the 2270s. We don't have a specific date, so it may not be 2279. But Wrath of Khan, which is in which, okay, is actually slightly more than 300 years ahead, because it came out in 82, but it takes place in 2285. So yes, we are talking 10 years between Motion Picture and Wrath of Khan, and that's why I'm saying early 2280s is probably when the Monster Maroons happened. But regardless...
All right, so all I'm saying is okay, we've got Hait coming, let's call it an even 20 years.
Okay.
Just for ease of use. But that means that war has been going on for 15?
Yeah.
14 years? So just to give us an idea of how bad it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is one thing that really, I think, really framed up for me in this episode was they're saying, okay, so it's from the point in time at the beginning of the episode, we're 7 years out from the accident.
Right.
And if you back into that, we're probably about 3 years in from the beginning of Discovery. So, that they say about 10 years before TOS, so that really helped frame up. And then the accident happened. And then was it 6 months after the accident is where Balance of Terror is supposed to be?
Yes, because Balance of Terror is actually 2 episodes after the Menagerie.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But we were about to talk about uniforms, and Thad, I know this is something close to your heart, so what are your thoughts on the shiny Monster Maroon?
I'm okay with the shiny. I don't mind the shiny sleeves to match the same sort of aesthetic as the Strange New World uniform. I'm okay with that. I really hate the droopy flap. In the Monster Maroons, the traditional Monster Maroons, they've got the flap that is held on with the rank thing. You've got the rank flap that holds on to the part of the uniform that Bones pulls off and says he's going to find black coffee. In the TOS movies, that line at the top of that flap is horizontal from neck to just under the right shoulder.
Yeah, it's kind of parallel with the collarbone.
Right. On Admiral Pike's uniform in Strange New Worlds, it doesn't go horizontal. It goes, down.
Instead of being parallel, it's a 45-degree angle down.
Yeah, and it sort of droops down, and I feel like the rank flap that comes over the shoulder and then down onto it, then looks absurdly long, because it goes all the way, it goes down to here instead of, here.
It's the casual mode when it comes to the Monster Maroon. That's what that is.
And I just don't care for that. I think the original look is neater and more, is smarter, I guess.
Gods, I didn't even notice that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Other than that, I love it. I love that we see it. I love that mostly it's the same. It's got the same insignia. It's got the trapunto collar. It looks great. If that flap just didn't look like that, if they need to do a Picard maneuver on that flap, or reverse Picard maneuver, I guess, pull it up instead of down. But you know what I'm saying. Other than that, I think it looks great. I love that we saw Pike in the newer uniform to show that he's from the future. And better choice that than the motion picture one. Although the motion picture Admiral's uniform looks good. It's all the other motion picture uniforms that look terrible.
Yeah.
And now I've offended Christos.
No, you actually haven't. I was actually just picturing Anson Mount in that tight 70s jumpsuit from TMT.
That's what that expression was. Okay.
That would have been okay. I could handle that.
I mean, we saw Stephen Collins in that,
You saw the Decker unit, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to give a shout out. First of all, I'm a big fan of the Monster Maroon. I think they're great. I love those in the movies. And I like when the flap is down because then you can see the blood easier on the white part, so that's pretty cool. But I got a good friend of mine, Johnny K, who is a filmmaker, and he's been doing some short films. And he is in production right now of Farragut Forward with John Broughton, who does the Starship Farragut fan films.
Oh.
And if you do a search for that, the Starship Farragut film series is all TOS era. But the new film, which will be released, a short film, is called Farragut Forward. And John Broughton, who plays the Captain John T. Carter, captain of the Starship Farragut, is wearing the Monster Maroon because the name of the short movie is called Farragut Forward. And we had him and my friend Johnny K discussing this fan film because it takes place in the future of the TOS era movies, where the TV series that he was doing, Starship Farragut, was taking place during the TOS time. And one of the questions I got this kind of like, you don't go there type of things. Is like, when exactly does Farragut Forward take place because you're wearing the Monster Maroon? And they didn't want to say because of certain things. But there is, what I find interesting, though, is there's a conflict with the Klingons in this short film because John's character, or John Broughton's character, John T. Carter, is captured by the Klingons, and you can see this teaser trailer online if you search for Farragut Forward. But I just got to say, John looking good in the Monster Maroon. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. Nice.
I've
heard of those films, but I hadn't seen them.
Yeah, I think I've seen something on YouTube with that. I appreciate the. It's a slight update, but they didn't go crazy.
Just real quick, if you guys want to... Sorry to interrupt. I forgot to mention, if you guys want to see that video, you can check on YouTube for Fandom Podcast Network, and it's episode 112, and we actually do a video interview with John and all that kind of stuff. And we we'll put up some pictures of some things like that. But sorry to interrupt you, Christos.
No, that's fine. Actually, that's kind of ironic. This is episode 112, too.
Yes. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely take... I know I've seen, YouTube's always suggesting things to me, so I know I've seen that, so...
Yeah, I've always liked the Monster Maroons. Now that we're talking about it, though, I actually kind of question... The Monster Maroons always felt to me like... The Monster Maroons felt that they were indicative of a time of peace. Because it is, for all intents and purposes, a dress uniform. If you think about it, like... I think about it in a way that... the British Army functioned before World War I, and you always went into battle in a dress uniform. That was just what you did. There was no such thing as a combat uniform or a more comfortable uniform. And when you look at the movie era, that is a time when there aren't any major wars. There is this Cold War going on with the Klingons, but the Klingon ambassador is still on Earth when the probe shows up, and there's communication. And so... Maybe the redesign, the slightly different, means that it's designed in such a way that it's a little less stiff and more comfortable. I don't know why that would mean you need a diagonal, strap, but whatever. But yeah, it's kind of...
That would kind of explain the shininess, actually. Like, because it's probably, like, stretchier there.
Yeah.
I like that observation, Chrissie, of thinking of him, like, as a dress uniform in the time of peace. That's interesting, and I like the... analogy with the British, because when the British went to war, they always looked good.
Yes, and they were easy to find.
Yeah, no,
yes.
And that does make sense because they do in scenes in the movies when you would wear a dress uniform, they are wearing the same uniforms to indicate that the Monster Maroon is both the duty and dress uniform. And in fact, that's probably why they had like those combat sweaters that they wore in Star Trek V.
Right.
Combat sweaters.
Or like because the engineering staff had, more of the jumpsuits and not the Monster Maroons because they need to actually work.
Yeah. I like that. All right.
Just show me where I get that Monster Maroon because that's cosplay coming soon.
Well, there isn't a company that currently makes accurate licensed costumes, and I don't think that's going to be one that you'll find from the Chinese knockoffs because I think it'll be too expensive to produce.
When I was doing that interview with the guys about Farragut Forward and the Monster Maroon, one of the people that was helping with the costumes, it came down to the point to where they had to tear apart one of the uniforms to give it the I just became a prisoner of war and my ship crashed look.
Oh no.
They started new and they had to do all the weathering and the blood and stuff and they were like, oh no.
Yeah, no, it is almost impossible. The only way to get a good Monster Maroon today is to commission someone who is very good at tailoring to make one for you.
Yeah.
Volante had good ones.
Well, okay, Volante has Monster Maroon inspired jackets. They are not...
Okay. It would work for a cosplay if that's what you wanted to do.
I would judge you, but yes.
I love my Volante TNG.
I love the Volante
cool.
jackets, but they are not accurate uniforms.
Yeah.
They are jackets inspired by the uniforms. I agree their Monster Maroon looks good, but it is not a Monster Maroon.
I got my Volante TNG one at STLV 2019, whatever, when they were first there. And I got one, and as soon as I put one on, I started wearing it like a Monster Maroon. I opened it up, and that's how I wore it. And then he's like, no one's done that before, but now everyone's doing it today because that's the first thing you think to do when you wear that is wear it like a TNG. It almost is like the uniforms that they were supposed to have in Generations that got abandoned.
I love those uniforms.
Yeah, me too. Anyways.
Speaking of Volante, they just announced their Strange New Worlds outfits.
Oh, cool.
They're actually like $70 fancy T-shirts actually, but they also have the field jackets from the away missions as well. Jackets inspired by the field jackets from the away missions.
Well,
And
Volante,
Christos is looking that up
not
right
a sponsor, but yeah, not a sponsor, but feel free if you'd like to sponsor us. We're happy to.
Christos,
to do
I
so.
just love watching your face when I say things because you react just wonderfully.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's going to be some money going out.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
If it's that or the DVD or the Blu-rays, it's definitely going to be the Volante stuff. All right, so Balance of Terror, Strange New World style.
Mm-hmm.
Pike gets dropped into the wedding of Angela Martine and Robert Tomlinson, who are the sad couple who can never actually be together except in death, apparently. I shouldn't laugh, but yeah.
Well, they don't even end up together in death because Angela Martine survives.
They're both killed by... Yeah,
okay,
they're both killed in
the
Calvin.
in the real timeline, Angela Martine survives.
Yes, but but they're both killed in Kelvin, so I was kind of making a bet.
Oh, right.
Well, didn't they catch them at the end of this episode when it's still in the alternate future and Pike is touring sickbay? It's the opposite. Wasn't she dead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was
a nice little
twist.
turnaround. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what reminded me of All Good Things, because he was dropped into that without knowing what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh yeah, it was very much like when Picard is taking command of the ship.
I loved when they announced Red Alert and Pike just like, thank God.
You'd think you'd have notes in front. I guess, maybe not. Always have notes in front of you in case your past self jumps into your body. And that way they can just pick up where you're at. And
a pad, something,
Yeah.
That's why when I'm podcasting, I've got 30 tabs open.
Yeah.
I know. It's like air traffic control over here.
Well, and especially if it's your past self jumping into your body, you would remember that from when it was you. So you should be prepared and have those notes ready to go.
Good point.
True.
Unless it's a different timeline. Then you don't end up doing that.
Yeah, well, I would feel like the instant your past self jumps into your... Oh, well, at that point it's too late. Never mind. Time is weird.
Yeah, exactly.
The future is the past is the future. It all gives me a headache.
Exactly. So, how much of this do you think was just verbatim Balance of Terror after this point? I think we have a good 25-30% at least.
I have some references here.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's ready.
Uhura's line to Pike about losing contact with the outpost is nearly exactly the same. Mm-hmm. Hansen's dialogue of the Romulan attack is basically word for word the same as Balance of Terror. Can you see it, Enterprise? Spock's speech in the briefing room about the Romulans retaining a martial philosophy and weakness is something we dare not show is all the same. The Romulan commander's bittersweet tribute to Pike saying, "I could have called you friend," is identical.
Yeah, that I caught.
And I got another one here. As many characters are lit with a specific emphasis on their eyes.
Yes, I love that.
What the director Vincent McVitie did in Balance of Terror.
Oh, and let's not forget like the use of music.
And I'm sorry, what's her name? The helmsman, Ortegas, getting all, you should attack, blah blah blah. Similar reference to the Balance of Terror helmsman did as well.
Styles. Slightly less racist version.
Yeah.
Slightly less racist, but I think only because she doesn't say it. I really feel like it's supposed to be there as the undertone.
That Ortegas is now in the seat, the different seat. She's in the seat that Styles was in Balance of Terror instead of the helm seat.
There's a lot of little subtleties like that throughout the episode.
The other thing I noticed in the sound design, which is kind of subtle, and perhaps they've done it all season, I just hadn't noticed. In TOS, whenever they're on the bridge, you hear in the background various status reports and mission and system reports being said over the speaker. Just in the background, you hear voices talking about this. You hear that all the time on the bridge in TOS, and and I heard it a lot on the bridge in this episode. And again, that's possible it's been there the whole season and I've missed it, but I heard it a lot this episode.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back.
The other thing that I picked up on immediately, of course, is how I have been complaining all season that it's hard to read the rank bands on the non-command officers because they're the same color as the jackets. Well, now they are gold like they were in TOS.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Did Uhura had more of her dress was more like.
Yeah, it had the neckline of the TOS
Yeah, it had the
style.
neckline, yeah.
She had the green earrings that Uhura wore on the show, too, on TOS.
If I understand correctly, those were a pair of Nichelle Nichols.
Oh, that's awesome.
One of, because I think she had more than one pair. If the article I read, if I understood it correctly.
Also, Chapel was wearing a light blue uniform instead of the white that she has been wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of good attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
My only thing, something that they could have done, was attention to detail. I wish the Romulan commander had been played by James Frain.
I had that in the notes. Did you know I had that in the notes?
Probably, maybe. I only skimmed your notes, so no.
Okay. He was Sarek, right, in the first two seasons of Discovery, right?
Yeah, that's why I said that.
He also, Mark Leonard played. Okay.
Yeah, so, I have it here. I know it would have been confusing to those who don't know the background, but I would have loved to see James Frain in the role of the Romulan commander.
Because Mark Leonard played both characters. Yeah, I thought that would have been...
I didn't even think about that. That's fantastic.
That would have been
But that said, the actor they got did the role perfectly, so...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I also loved... I don't know if you noticed, but the Romulan soldiers in the background had those same goofy helmets that they wore on
Balance of Terror. Yep.
The Romulan uniforms had giant shoulders because Romulans gotta have giant shoulders. It was great.
They had the forehead. They were stubborn Northerners.
They were Northern Romulans, because they had the forehead ridges.
Yeah, I appreciated that although a lot was the same, there were some things that were if they had had the budget and the technology in the 60s, they would have looked that way. But, for example, the foreheads, and we see the outposts and things like that in the episode, whereas they're just maps, on a screen and the original Balance of Terror.
I also like that every Starfleet ship we have seen in Strange New Worlds has been a kit bash of the Constitution class.
Oh, well, of course. It has to be.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be because it's CG, so they can do whatever they want. But the fact that they're doing that in sort of honor of how it always used to be is great.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so somebody who has seen Enterprise more times than I have, this thing about the Romulan-Vulcan connection always bothered me after we got past the original series, this initial introduction, because I feel like, and especially as it was more explored, the Vulcans knew about the Romulans leaving. The Vulcans knew about the Sunbird.
Yeah.
They weren't calling themselves the Romulans at that point. Fine. Okay. But I feel
That
like
has always
in
bothered me.
Enterprise, there was some discussion that somebody knew about it. And I might be just...
No, T'Pol knew
I might
about
be confusing it
Romulans.
with one
She
of the
didn't
books.
necessarily say that she knew that they were like Vulcans, but she knew about Romulans. And that has
Okay.
always bothered me, because yes, the Vulcans have been out in space for, millennia or whatever. They explored, they know where the Romulan Empire is. It feels like a huge stretch for the fact that the Vulcans and the Vulcans do not know who the Romulans are.
Yeah, especially because Romulus is relatively close.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they had, super great ships when they all just left. So that's always bothered me, but fine. It's just going to continue to bother me.
Yeah, but if they try to retcon that away, like the cries of the fanboys would be heard from here to Romulus.
Yes. We'll have to... The only way I can really reconcile it in my head is to say that it's classified information.
Okay.
So the Vulcans are aware of it. They just don't want to tell anybody.
Hey,
Now,
maybe if
did they tell
Spock
the
had gotten
Federation
into
during
the
the
Vulcan
war?
Science Academy, he would know about it.
Maybe. Maybe Michael Burnham knows about it.
That's true. Well, she certainly does now.
Maybe that's the crossover they're teasing us.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
well, if Michael Burnham does know about it because she went to the Vulcans, it explains why she wasn't. Because there was some talk, I remember, during Discovery Season 3, like, why is Michael not a little shocked to find out that the Romulans are actually related to the Vulcans?
Yeah.
And maybe she knew all along.
It's kind of like in the Tribbles episode of DS9 when Worf the Klingons.
We
are
do
different.
not
He's like,
talk
we
about
don't
it."
talk about it. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
That was the
I feel
best
like-
explanation of everything ever.
It
was
was,
better-
because it just
I
acknowledged
mean,
it
I
and
didn't
let it
hate
go.
the augment explanation from Enterprise.
No.
But
Oh, I thought that was okay. You made it all fit. I was okay with that. I didn't need
But
Brett and Spiner again, but I liked it.
They're all clones.
Yeah.
Every Soong that we have seen in the timeline since the one on Picard, they're all clones. None of them...
yeah, and he's going to show
actually-
up in Season 2 of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. They are not produced in the usual way. And I'm beginning to think it's because these Soong men were just really strange and they were incels. So that was the only way they could produce heirs for themselves. Until we get to Noonian, who was apparently also a complete jerk, but we like him because of Data.
But he also wasn't an incel, because he had a wife for a while.
Right. That's why I said except for.
But his son also looks identical to him, so I think he was also a clone.
Yeah, probably. Anyway.
Anyway, back to Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. Let's talk Jim Kirk.
All right.
And then we'll come back to the Farragut.
Paul
and all
Wesley
that.
is too skinny.
Okay. I was about to say, how do we feel about our new Kirk? So he's too skinny.
I'm
going to say, looks aside, I'm not going to, I won't go there. I feel like he lacks charisma. The one thing that, you had, obviously, William Shatner and Chris Pine, that his saving grace was he had charisma as well. I don't feel like Paul Wesley has that wow factor of, I'm going to, not like, certainly not the charisma that Anson Mount has, for example.
No one has the charisma that Anson Mount has.
I was thinking, I'm with you there, but I'm thinking of swagger. He doesn't have the swagger.
No, that's it.
Charisma,
exactly.
swagger.
Same
can
word.
Yeah.
I
There's
got you. Potato. No.
There's a little difference there.
With Kirk, there's a certain swagger that he has when he walks on the bridge, when he lands on a planet, when he, fights or does something. Just something about that. But you're right, though. I was feeling that with Wesley's portrayal, and that there wasn't that kind of charisma / swagger thing going on.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this because I am not a skinny person. I just feel that Paul Wesley he's his physique is not the same as 60s Shatner. His body is a different body type, and that's not necessarily a problem. I'm just saying it sort of takes it out for me. And yes, he doesn't have the same charisma. I can tell he's trying, but
our new Uhura actress looks nothing like Nichelle Nichols, but I bought her as Uhura because she has some of those other qualities.
That's a fair point. Okay, yeah. So. If he had that swagger, that William Shatner in his prime, attitude, then I think you're right. I think I probably wouldn't care that he doesn't quite look the part. I think it's a combination there. It's that fact that he doesn't. I can tell he's trying to do Kirk, and I don't think he's terrible at it. And I think I might get better. I might enjoy him better as we see him more. But for right now, he doesn't quite embody James T. Kirk to me.
Right, yeah.
When you said he was too skinny, what I heard... I heard he's too skinny, but I heard it in that kind of, joking old Italian mother voice. You're too skinny. Eat something.
Eat something.
I didn't think you were, seriously, getting into the physicality of it.
Yeah, and although I'm not saying that because William Shatner also wasn't fat. Certainly not in the 60s.
No,
but he was more. He was certainly Paul Wesley is a different. His frame is different.
Yeah. And it's like I said, I thought you were kidding around, so that's why he's too skinny. Yeah, but he does have a really long neck.
His head is enormous for his body. He's like a human bobblehead. There's a couple scenes where I feel so terrible saying this now.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
But there's a couple scenes, especially with the way the things are lit, where their faces are lit and their body, it looks like his head is just looming over the rest of his body.
I know what you mean. It's a fair point.
I feel like an awful person. Paul Wesley, if you listen to this podcast, I am so sorry. You are an attractive person. You're just not quite what I envision of James Kirk.
I think you should make that the little tagline for every episode at the end. This week on
yeah.
No, I was just going to say, kind of further with the charisma thing. If for anything, I found myself completely on Pike's side because I wasn't bought in to Kirk. And that was, and it's almost like you got Anson Mount. You needed to cast somebody on that Anson Mount level to be able to be in the same scene with him.
Counterpoint, no one is on Anson Mount's level.
I felt like that's where the miscasting comes in.
No, I agree.
Well, let me just ruin all of your images in your head, all of your images of him in your head, because about halfway through the episode, it was bugging me. Who does he look like? And then I realized he looks like a young Jim Carrey.
No, he absolutely
does. And I lost it after that.
No, I thought
that's why. And there's nothing wrong with that. And and he's a decent actor. He's doing the job well. The writing is there for Kirk. The writing feels like Kirk, but he doesn't.
Then.
Yeah.
I knew someone was going to say it.
Yeah, thank you for that.
The Romulus
you guys saw that
my
too?
ship, and
Okay.
it is smoking.
Spot on. That's spot on.
And now we can go a step further, going back to Mad TV when Jim Carrey used to do Kirk impressions in those skits.
That's right, yeah.
In Living Color, but yeah.
In Living Color. There you go. Oh,
yeah.
We can just,
Fire Marshal
we should pull those
Bill
up and put them side by side.
Oh, no. No, yeah, I had forgot he did Kirk on that. Oh, jeez.
That's funny.
Yeah, okay, so I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought that, but I will voice it. So.
I am glad that I'm not the only one who was disappointed with his portrayal, because I felt like I was going to come on here and bash this guy, and you all were going to be thinking I was being too harsh.
No, he was in the wrong arena with Anson Mount.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only person I can think of who would have done the role would have been Chris Pine, who would have been able to hold his own on Anson Mount as Kirk. But that would have been weird.
Yeah.
Also, he's too old to play Kirk at this age now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But no, I agree. I mean, it made me nostalgic for that 5 minutes in like 2013 when we thought we were going to get a 5-year Mission TV show coming off of Beyond.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to do that. No, we're not. Never mind. So, okay. So, verdict on Kirk. We're hoping it gets better?
You know, they're dragging him out to ComicCon in 2 weeks, so I hope they got something better to show, because, you know, we know he's in season 2, so.
I mean, kudos to him for not making fun, doing a, like, over-exaggerated Shatner cadence, though. That would have made it worse.
Yes.
Well, I think what would be interesting to hear or see, and I keep thinking to one of my favorite lines that he says as a Kirk character in Star Trek V is, I need my pain. Mm-hmm. I think that we need to see something more because his character, I think, needs to experience some loss or something that refers to his pain that might maybe make him a little more Kirkish. To me, he kind of feels more like he's getting out of like Ensign Kirk or something like that. You know, he's still kind of getting used to the captain thing, but I need someone who's a little more damaged.
This is a Kirk who has not had to kill Edith Keeler.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yet.
So
was the Kirk in Balance of Terror, though.
Oh, that's true.
But,
never mind.
Okay. No, point taken. Also, Sam's still alive, although he also wasn't.
Sam was also alive at this point in Balance of Terror. Yeah.
The only hope is that, you know, this alternate future Kirk is, you know, somehow different, but I don't know. I don't think that solves the actor in charisma. So
that
we'll
said,
wait and see.
When we see Kirk, if we see him again, it will be in the present time, which is, you know, 7 years before, when he is still a much younger, less experienced person. So I think that will help.
If he plays him basically the same way, that's going to work.
Yeah. The problem is playing him that way in the future when he's already the captain of a ship and has been presumably for a little while at least. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, well then, let's talk about the Farragut. I have a little, I have an idea here about the involvement of the Farragut, but I want to hear what you guys have to say first. How did you feel about, we got this other ship coming in to the storyline and kind of changing things because of that?
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems odd that there would have been another ship. I mean, there wasn't another ship in Balance of Terror, and we can assume that, like, general universe things had progressed the same way until that point. So it's interesting. I mean, they did that so that we could have Kirk and Pike could see the difference between him and Kirk, but yeah, I'm not sure. I
liked seeing a different starship other than the Constitution class. Mm-hmm. I think there's an old technical manual for TOS that I used to have in the 80s, and I believe like the Archer in the first episode, I think the design came right out of there. So I love that throwback. That this isn't something, you know, and like you said earlier, it's kind of like a reliant, TOS reliant. So I like its involvement. It goes down pretty fast, definitely, which was, I think, the point. Of course, it did get hit much closer, in much closer proximity to the Romulan weapon. I think I think it's a necessary plot device to bring Kirk in. So. You had to introduce him somehow. And putting Kirk on another Constitution class probably wouldn't feel right.
I think that there's certain names in Star Trek ships that just scream Star Trek, and it's Farragut. And I think it's funny that this is tied to Kirk as, if I remember correctly, in Generations...
Yep.
There's a term to Farragut rescuing the rest of the crew from the starship.
Yeah, the Farragut's one of the ships there.
Yep. And then to go take it even further, if you read the Shatnerverse books, which I will not apologize for, that I love.
I love the Shatnerverse books. I absolutely adore them.
All the audiobooks. And when he does the return where they resurrect Captain Picard, excuse me, let me clarify. He's dead, but the Romulans who are working with the Borg resurrect Captain Picard from the grave Kirk to reanimate him and basically turn him against the Federation to use him as a weapon. But the Farragut is mentioned in that book as well as one of the rescuer ships. Yeah.
I actually just reread that book last year. It has been one of my favorite Star Trek books since I was a kid, and oh my god, it is so ridiculous and over the top and amazing.
All the Shatnerverse is ridiculous, but I love it.
I feel like the later ones really go off the rails. But
they do,
yes.
but they're such a guilty pleasure, and I love seeing Kirk survive and have a relationship and then a kid, and later on, I'm fine with that.
And he and Picard
like
become besties.
Just take me into the Shatnerverse. I'll do
it. Kirk was on the Farragut too, as a lieutenant.
Yes,
so
that's the one with the cloud that
obsession.
Obsession with Captain Garavik.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just confirmed that of all the starships at the end of Generations, the Farragut is the Nebula class one, which also has that Reliant style of the tuna sail from the bottom.
I love the Nebula class. That's a sharp looking ship. I love it.
Yeah. That was a nice upgrade when they brought that in season 4 of TNG, and finally we saw another, TNG era starship. I think that was the first time we saw a ship that was along the lines of the Galaxy class ship.
Yeah, if I can't get a Galaxy, give me the
when
Nebula.
we first see a Nebula class?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yep. But so that kind of tracks with the design of the Farragut in this episode.
All right, so here's what I'm thinking. The whole thing plays out basically the same until the Farragut shows up.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they try to mirror the Romulan ship. And why doesn't it work?
Because there's two of them.
Two ships there.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is Kirk's fault.
Yes and no, but the thing is, Pike wouldn't have destroyed the ship like Kirk did in Balance of Terror.
Yeah. So
and that's
my thought.
Yeah.
So my thought was, Pike in this episode it's very much. He's kind of bringing a Jean-Luc Picard type of style of leadership to it. And diplomacy.
And he always has, yeah.
Right. And, Kirk is Kirk, and there's the Kirk way of doing it. And I think the solution to this episode and this problem and this dilemma is a Kirk approach. And that's really what they're trying to illustrate to us in the episode.
I saw someone on Twitter say that Pike's approach to this is the same as Edith Keeler's approach to world politics in the 30s. That it's the right idea, but the wrong time for it because it won't work because you cannot. There are some people that you cannot get peace with. Right. Some fights are inevitable, and this was one of them.
Around my arms.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, you can be right, but it's not always the right thing to do.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. This was such a heavy episode too, in good ways, but heavy. So getting to that in terms of the destruction of the ship, okay. The Romulans show up. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but the Romulans show up, and there's a moment when the Praetor blames this Romulan commander, destroys his ship, and that would have left everybody plausible deniability.
Yeah, I thought they were going to turn around and go home at that point.
Me too, because everybody's had been satisfied. The Romulans could say that was not part of our government, it was rogue. The Federation could say it was rogue and the person's been dealt with and it wasn't part of the Romulan government. And everybody could just walk away from that. But nope.
Well, because it really brings back the vibes from the Vulcan hello in Discovery of, you Klingon hello or Vulcan hello, right? Or, so you had to, there was a way that you needed to respond, and the Pike approach was not the way you needed to show strength, and we didn't show strength.
Yeah, it's interesting to specifically calling it the Vulcan hello. I mean, that does reference the Vulcan, but also, and unfortunately I did not have time to watch Balance of Terror before recording this, but I seem to recall that it's Spock who tells Kirk in Balance of Terror that he has no choice but to destroy the ship before
Yes.
it returns to Romulus.
Yep. I watched it today. You're right.
When I was watching, it's been so long, I don't remember Balance of Terror that well. But when we were having the what's the woman's Romulan woman's rank again? Praetor, yeah. That when she blows up the other Romulan ship, I almost feel like the bridge that you felt that Pike, kind of like building a bridge there with the other Romulan of not necessarily peace, but I felt like that was like the Praetor was like, kind of sending a message, like no matter how charming you are, or however, you're gonna get the ear of one of our Romulans. That's not going to happen, And peace was just out of her mind there, and I thought she was really good. I liked her in that scene.
Yeah, even if he had... Okay, here's a thought exercise. Even if the underling hadn't reached out to Romulan Command, if he had returned and said that and gave a report of what happened, I think they still would have attacked. I think that would have been like, oh, the Federation wants to make peace. Well, then they're weak, let's attack.
Maybe. It would have been a different situation because Pike would have been able to go back to Starfleet Command with this information,
Yes.
and they might have been more prepared.
Yes,
But
but
yeah,
I think
I
the
think he still went up
Romulans
with a war.
probably still would have started a war.
Yeah. Probably.
I think the way Kirk handled it in the original Balance of Terror was the way to do it. By destroying that ship, it shows that the Federation is prepared and can handle a threat, and that is what tells them not to attack again.
Yeah. Let's see here. Kirk comes back with those drones. That was pretty cool. That was very Kirk.
I like that. That was definitely
That
a
was
thing
good.
Kirk would do. And that's why I say I think Kirk was written very well. I just
Yeah.
the
I'd agree.
execution wasn't quite there.
Yeah. And what's interesting, if they brought Paul Wesley in for this, and he's versed in the character in the universe, and I don't know that he is or not, but if they brought him in with the intention of playing the younger, brash Kirk, but first we're going to have you play this older Kirk,
Yeah.
maybe some wires got crossed. So
That's
I'm going to
possible.
hold out judgment until we've
so you're
seen
saying
more
they
of
may
him.
have before they when they hired him, they knew that they were going to be showing him later as well. So they may have. That's a fair point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sad that we didn't get to see any interaction between Kirk and La'an, who is apparently his XO, because she's a commander and wearing gold.
Yeah.
It's like they beam over the crew from the Farragut, and the only person we ever see after that transporter room is just Kirk.
Yeah, I felt like there was some missing information there, but within the context of the story, it makes sense.
Yeah, at first, when Uhura said it was La'an's ship, I thought La'an was the captain.
So did I.
When I think that was probably deliberate so that we would be surprised when Kirk showed up. Although we weren't, because his name was in the credits.
Yeah, I missed that because I was like,
Which,
oh my god,
admittedly,
Pike
you
and a
only
monster
knew
marine.
if you've been paying attention to, all the news and
Yeah.
casting announcements of the show. But, yeah, I'm watching... I was watching that, and I saw that name in the credits. I'm like, why'd they do that? But yes.
For the same reason they did it on Picard.
They did it in
with-
Picard, yeah.
Jerry Ryan.
Yeah. Jonathan Frakes in the finale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the battle. We have the aftermath of the battle. Which brings home...
So, I'm
point.
sorry, during the battle,
No, go ahead.
we have
Yeah.
off-screen Scotty.
Oh, yes!
Yeah, his hand.
Yes. Yes. That's
Which
right.
I thought was a nice touch.
No, we don't have any reference to McCoy or Sulu or Rand
Yeah, you'd think,
but
you would almost have thought they'd put with them moving Ortegas over to the navigator's seat. You'd almost would have thought they'd have a Sulu there in the helms.
Yeah, I think they've got to be very careful about. They're making Strange New Worlds. We're not making TOS, and if we rush into everybody,
this episode though was literally a TOS episode. So I would have forgiven them if they had Bones and Sulu.
Well, but they're like, I don't know, how many months are we past where his accident was supposed to have happened? At least 6 or 7. So,
and how long?
But he had left the ship before that.
Right. And like, if you go back to him writing letters to all these kids and whatnot, well, the butterflies are out. So there's already exponentially emotions being sent into events being sent into motion that are changing the future. So who knows why McCoy's not on the ship or Sulu, for that matter.
Both of whom could have been on the Farragut.
That's also true.
If they were handpicked by Kirk to be there.
Yeah, and I could see someone like Mbenga staying as Chief Magical Officer because Pike is there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So we have the battle, and we see that Spock is left as the casualty to account for Pike.
Yep.
Have you guys read Peter David's Q Squared?
Yes. Admittedly, it was 20 years ago, but yes.
I had the audiobook, and I think I still have it somewhere.
Awesome.
It's behind you.
Yeah, that's a good bet, even if you can't see what's behind. Christos, have you read that?
I don't think I have. And I've read, especially back in the day, I used to read TNG novels like crazy, but I don't think
I have the unabridged audiobook. There you go.
All right,
no, excuse me. It was the
it would be abridged. Yeah, all the 90s audiobooks were abridged.
They were all abridged.
Yes, it was the abridged. That's what I meant to say. Yeah.
Was it read by John Delancey?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they were all abridged and all read by the actors.
Yeah, he read a lot of them. Leonard Nimoy read a lot. Gates McFadden read a lot of those books. Yeah,
Shatner read the Shatnerverse once.
Yeah,
makes sense. He would want the money for that. Let anybody else.
Plus, then he can find out what the story is because it's not like he actually wrote them.
Good point. Okay, so this is a spoiler, but it's for a book that's been out for 30 years, so I'm not going to be worried about it. Part of the story in that, they're jumping timelines, and part of the story in that is that Jack Crusher's still alive, and he's captain of the Enterprise D, and Picard's his XO. And at one point, he's talking to Q, and he finds out that he is utterly unique in the universe and utterly unique in the multiverse. And that in every other timeline that exists, he dies and Wesley survives. Because in Q Squared, in the timeline where he survives, Wesley dies. And it reminded me of that. I know it has nothing to do with this, but it just reminded me of that.
I can see where I got more Into Darkness vibes, where instead of Spock dying, Kirk died.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so I got that was a little bit more direct reference. I felt like,
Mm-hmm.
Question about Spock. In this different alternate, thing that's happening here, this Spock seemed a little more rigid and uptight compared to what we're seeing Spock with in our regular, verse here. Was that seem weird?
I think perhaps this is Spock 7 years in the future. We're not sure what's happened. This is Spock post-Amok time.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but
you're
right.
In the
future, why is he he seems like prequel
Forget
Spock
how
to me,
early Bounce of Terror is.
No, I think you're spot on. I think it's more so the Spock we're getting in Everyday Strange New Worlds, everyone has commented he's got a little bit more of his human side showing.
Yeah.
And and the idea is between, the 7 years between now and TOS, he adopts more and more and more and more of the Vulcan tradition and closes off more and more and more of his emotions, and you get that more rigid Spock. So I think exactly what you saw was an intentional performance, and
that would make sense then, because it was catching me off guard. Going, why is he kind of uptight? What's going on here?
No,
that would make sense. Yeah,
he's playing it more Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, before we get into the importance of Spock and such, anything else you want to say about the battle and all of that?
Visually, it was good. I love what they've been doing with these special effects, and that Aliens Predator episode previously, where you see the ship sticking in the ground. I mean, it was gorgeous. The show is not disappointing when it comes to visually, when it comes to the ships and the battles and stuff like that, and calling out the different pattern deltas for evasion or whatever like that. I love that they're actually showing that. Right after the captain orders it, and you see them do this or do that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful show for sure.
Yeah, I think this one definitely has the highest special effects budget of any of the Star Treks yet.
And that would make sense. Yeah. All right, so we get through with that. Pike is thoroughly scarred, however we want to put this, both. And the Admiral shows up again and talks about how the only person who is any hope for a Romulan Federation entente is lying on the biobed. And of course we know that. Mm-hmm. And it made me think about how... Well, okay, let me say this first. I thought they were going to kill Kirk when he came back with the drones, and he was going to, he was trying to protect them so they could get their warp to go.
Yeah, and I think the episode was trying to, they were trying to fake us out with that.
Oh, 100%, yes. And that prompted me to think, okay, so there's all this stuff that Kirk does that is, how does he put it, fate of the galaxy type things, right? Mm-hmm. But arguably there's more that Spock does. And there is...
So if Spock doesn't survive past this, then does Earth survive past the whale probe?
Forget the whale probe.
V'ger. Yeah. Well, they must, because Pike's in Monster Marin.
Oh, good point. Right. Well, they probably just destroyed V'ger while it was on its way, because it looked like a Romulan weapon or something. Or it got destroyed otherwise.
Sure.
The whale probe certainly there's no other person that would have figured that out in the context. Yeah. Is Journey to Babel before or after this? I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
I think this is Mark Leonard's first appearance in Balance of Terror, right?
Yes,
so
it was.
He's in, and so he shows up as Sarek in Journey to Babel, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And I'm not even a TOS aficionado.
But also, saying which episode takes place before which episode is complicated for TOS, because production order and aired order were very different.
Okay, well, this one's easy because Journey to Babel is season 2.
Okay.
So, not only do we lose Spock, we lose Sarek in that case. And without Sarek, how different is the next 100 years of Federation history?
Well, do we lose Sarek? Because the whole he wouldn't have been on Kirk's Enterprise to be transported to the Babel Conference in the first place. So there's a lot of butterflies there. So we don't know that the assassination of Sarek would have happened.
And everything's all messed up on Discovery because we never go to Navarre.
Well, no, Discovery's gone after this.
I know.
And then
it's 900 years in the future.
But the Sarek Picard mind meld doesn't happen, and if you want to jump that far.
I mean, we just keep on.
But, I mean, you could.
Everything's
Chapel's
unravels.
What was the syndrome that Spock had? What syndrome?
Sarek had the Ben-Dai syndrome.
Ben-Dai.
Yeah. So, I mean, this just kind of, I don't know about you guys. It sent me down a rabbit hole, because I started thinking about that, and then I started thinking about if he died, how does Sarek react to his son dying without having had a chance to reconcile? how does that make him feel about the Federation, about Starfleet? Does that change the way he functions as an ambassador? Does he retire from being an ambassador?
Well.
And then if Spock survives but is crippled in the way that we see Pike, Amanda's going in there to take care of him, and Sarek is not going to be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Well, even just a 20-year Romulan war, how many people die in that war, and that just ultimately changes the entire world. Yeah. I mean, that's everything. So
millions die. So
I think the
particular
fake
to
out
Spock
here.
is where
I
it is,
think I think the fake out here is, you're right. It is about Spock and Kirk, because it's like we all expect Kirk to die, and it's everyone to think about it as, well, if Kirk dies, then all of that. But no, it's really more about Spock, and probably the more interesting of the two anyway. Personal opinion, but.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's definitely a little bit of a fake out there that Kirk survived and everything, when we expected him to die, and the emphasis to be on, well, look, history is irrevocable changed, but it's about Spock and, galaxy saving type events that they reference.
When I went to see 2009 with my little sister, who's 10 years younger than me, so she was 18? No, she was 17. Anyway, we got done with the movie, and we walked out of the theater, and she sat down on the steps, and she just put her head in her hands, and she's like, what happens to everyone after this? Where's Worf? Where's Picard? And she went through this, and she had this moment of just, oh my God, how does this work? And that was how I felt thinking about Spock with this stuff. And it just was kind of
no unification.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
No. The Romulan star, the supernova. I mean, what happens with that? So there's that little possibility that they might have done it to themselves, but that's a whole other thing.
Well, the Romulan supernova, Spock didn't stop the supernova anyway, so that...
No, but he was the only reason that anybody outside of the Romulan Star Empire knew about it.
What?
Because he told the Federation.
What? When?
Wasn't it?
No.
I thought that was in the Countdown comic.
No.
Because they didn't want to let the information out, and he did.
Okay, but the Countdown comics are no longer canon based on Picard.
Right. There's really the book The Last Best Hope or whatever, the prequel to the season 1 of Picard, that goes really deep into.
That's right.
Right, but what they get at is they allude to several times in that novel that the supernova was a man-made event, that somebody caused it on purpose, and it's like a thread they forgot to resolve.
And we probably don't get the him contemplating the lyrics to "Row, row, row your boat,"
or preparing to roast marshmallows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was my second Star Trek V reference. This
Kirk
episode.
dies.
Keep him coming. Nothing wrong with that.
If Kirk doesn't die in the Romulan War, he dies when he tries to climb El Capitan.
It's a guilty, but I love me some Star Trek.
If he even does
V.
that.
That was like Kirk pancake.
Yeah. Anyway, Spock's important. Yeah. Listeners, tell me, maybe I just dreamed this, but I swear there was some reference somewhere in the stuff that the only reason that the Federation knew anything about the Romulan supernova was because Spock told them.
Yeah, that's
Spock
not
the information.
Based on The Last Best Hope. That's not true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because yes, the Countdown comic. I remember them saying that it was canon at the time, but is clearly not. Because it does not. You can't reconcile anything that happens in that comic with what happens in Picard.
Yeah, not any of the details for sure. And then we have this conversation between Kirk and Pike. What you guys think about that?
It was cool to get a prime timeline reference to the Kelvin.
That was good.
Yep.
Although we've had one previously on
We
Discovery.
had a reference to the timeline before. This was the first reference to the ship, the Kelvin.
No, I thought he said there's a timeline because of... Oh, no.
It was an incursion
Romulan
caused
ship.
by a Romulan mining ship, is what he said in that one.
You're right. Okay. Never mind.
I was getting vibes, like, this is a scene I wanted to see. This is kind of like when you're watching Heat and you're waiting for Al Pacino and Robert De Niro to finally sit down and talk, you know? I'm like, these two guys just need to sit down and shoot the you-know-what, and, have the Iowa talk, have the, the horse talk. I mean, come on. You got one captain riding horses, and you see Kirk later on riding horses. How do we know maybe there's no connection there? So it's just... that was something I wanted to see. Is as little as the amount as it was, it needed to be done.
Yeah.
And actually, I would say it needed to be done a bit because it doesn't actually happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what was that thing that happened years ago with the Q versus Spock?
Oh, I love those
like
audio dramas.
That audio drama,
so
yeah.
good.
It's kind of like one of those, just like...
I love those.
Me too.
Love those.
I think at that point, though, for me, the episode was kind of wrapping up, and Pike is coming to the realization that, yeah, this is the wrong move for me. This is why I've been shown this time crystal, and this is why I need to not write these letters, and it helps make him fully accept his fate, which I think is going to give us a different Pike in season 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. All right. And then he's back in 2259. And Spock knows that he has visited some other timeline or had some other experience in another timeline in which Spock was killed. Since he's so happy to see him.
He's quite perceptive, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that subtle, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think adds to the menagerie, and I think that was the point there. So, I didn't get a chance to look up when season 2 was confirmed for this. Okay. But I think it had to have been before this episode. At least they were finished writing it, if not in the process of filming it. And again, like I said, I didn't look at the date. Because that end, up until they go down to the transporter room, feels like it could have ended the whole show. We could have had a 10-episode miniseries. This was Strange New Worlds. Pike is going to be where he's supposed to be. Everybody in the Enterprise is where they're supposed to be. And that's the end of it. Because the thing with Una being arrested and the little comment about it that was added in with La'an in that scene that really didn't need to exist in the other timeline, feels like they were add-ons. And I think this was written in a way that it was safe to finish the show before they were confirmed a second season. And they threw this in after when they knew.
Yeah,
That's
so this could have
certainly
either been
possible,
yeah.
It could have been a pickup, or it even could have been, they started shooting season 2 like way back in February, right?
Yeah.
Or sooner. So it could have been shot at the front end of season 2 to fix them.
Oh, that's also true.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, that end with the song, and he sits down, and everything's nice, and it's, on to the next star.
So, my thought here is Pike says this isn't over, which means he's going to try to get her back. But...
Oh, of course, yeah.
We see from the future that he doesn't. So, what's going to happen? Does that mean he won't now? Does that mean she's going to be stuck in some prison for genetically modified people?
If she is, then they're visiting that prison, because Rebecca Romaine was around for filming.
That's true.
Yeah. And I hope whatever this is, it's going to bring a stronger presence of Rebecca Romaine in season 2. Mm-hmm. I feel like they find a way to sideline her in the first 5 minutes of every episode, and she's only in the first 5 or the last 5 minutes of every episode, and it's getting a little old.
Yeah,
I mean, except for Ghost of Valyria, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but she only shows up for 5 minutes in the middle. Wait, no, sorry. I just totally went on I went into the fairy tale. Wait, was that the fairy tale episode?
No, Ghost of Valyria is the one with
where she would get her backstory.
The one where she's the main character.
Yeah. Yeah, but she's supposed to be like, you're thinking of her as first officer. Usually you're used to that being like a Leonard Nimoy or Jonathan Frakes or somebody who's really going to be a feature.
Right.
And she's not really. She's just been kind of like a casual side character.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just looking at this. The second season production was announced in November of 21 as scheduled for starting in February of 22. Okay. But according to the Wikipedia page, they were writing the second season kind of concurrently with the last few episodes of the first season when they were writing them. So they had it done, and they assumed that it was going to be well received, is what this says.
Yeah,
I think they assumed correctly.
It probably was just shot all together because, it's nice to put a bow on it, but nobody ever wants to feel like it's final, right? So you basically introduce a big thread for season 2.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt to me like a safety finale. Maybe it's just
at least they're not handling it like Fox did in the 90s and early 2000s.
But didn't season 2 of Lower Decks end with Mariner's mom being arrested? So like this is common thread now.
Well,
no,
we have parallels
because
I mean, season 1 of Picard and season 1 of Lower Decks both ended with Riker swooping in to save the day. So
there we go. I like that.
It's a good run for Riker if you think about it.
I was kind of annoyed he didn't show up in season 3 of Discovery to also save the day somehow.
Yeah.
The great grandson.
Or like the emergency holographic Riker,
There you go. Yeah.
We need one
complete
of those.
with Riker maneuver.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Being able to step over any chair in the house.
So, anything else we want to say about this before we jump into canon connections? Which are everything.
Yeah. Like I say, we just spent
I think we covered
an hour and 55 minutes talking about canon connections.
Oh, yes.
Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah, the music was good.
Music was amazing.
All right, well, final thoughts.
Well, overall, like I said, 9.5 out of 10. It's a very, very, very strong episode that end caps a very, very, very strong season. And I love that the thread, for a show that's not supposed to be serialized, there is these character arcs that are ongoing, including the whole Pike story of dealing with his pending disability, call it, and him dealing with that. So I just like that, although we're kind of getting stories in a bottle from week to week that allow us to not have to be that immersed, there is this thread of the character stories that are carrying through this show. And one little final thought, we didn't swoop back and talk about Pike's little girlfriend that arrests.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was not a big fan of her. I didn't, something from the beginning told me I didn't like her, and then she just gave me a reason to really not like her here in the final episode. So that's I just had like a bad vibe about her.
So I guess Starfleet sent her because they knew Pike probably couldn't be trusted to arrest his own first officer.
Oh, well, yeah.
Or just to make it awkward.
Someone in the Admiralty is like, let's make, wow.
All right.
Yeah. I like that she was in the first episode. And
I like the continuity.
And it's nice to see a captain actually have a somewhat successful ongoing relationship, I guess, until
Captain friend with benefits,
I guess.
And, they feel much more like friends with benefits than like actual boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, played by Melanie Scrofano, was the lead in Winona Earp.
I've heard of that, but I have not seen it.
Yeah,
I have not either.
Oh man, having live action Star Trek return to episodic television, but still having this thing out there and not having to, we didn't ask the question. And we do other podcasts on the Fandom Podcast Network, unlimited television series, like, the Disney Plus stuff, the Star Wars stuff, and when you know how many episodes, if it's limited, and there's this ongoing arc, there's always this question of, like, how are they going to wrap it up in the last episode? Is it going to be an extended episode? Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Having, and those questions were all asked and were all big concerns with the story arcs through Star Trek Discovery and, of course, Picard. And I love that we're getting episodic television again, but still having this other thing out there. And it's not at the expense of the character development either. We got great character development going through all of this. And I was missing a lot of that during Picard and, of course, Discovery. And, it was very well balanced. I was getting the Burnham burnout in the Discovery shows. And I was getting nostalgia with Picard, but it wasn't what I wanted to see. I wanted to see some more standalone stuff. I want to learn more about characters talking and hanging out with each other, and seeing the way this episode ended in the possible future look. Give me some Star Trek time travel or alternate universe stuff. These tropes that Star Trek has. This had that. The throwback to the original series, but getting still some of these moments as well is just fascinating, and I thought this was a great way to end it. And Anson Mount, just perfect as Pike. I wasn't asking for this series. Didn't need it. Didn't want it. Got it. Loved it.
Yeah.
Great way to end it. Yep.
Yeah.
Well put.
Thad?
I was asking for this series. I did want it. I did need it. And it was exactly what I wanted. It is fantastic. I had been clamoring for this ever since we first saw Pike on Strange New Worlds, because Anson Mount is incredible in this role. And honestly, like, I've seen him in other things. I watched Hell on Wheels. He was good in that.
Oh, yeah.
Not to the same way. Like, there's just something about him as Pike that is just fantastic and makes you want to see more and more and more. And this whole show, from start to finish, I have been enjoying the ride. I've been super excited waking up every Thursday morning to turn on Strange New Worlds and watch that show as soon as possible. I mean, I always watch the show as soon as possible because I'm on Twitter and otherwise I'll get spoiled. But with Strange New Worlds, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, yes, I get to watch Strange New Worlds. And it has been amazing. And this finale, I was not expecting what we got. And it was just fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say other than now I want season 2 right now.
Right.
Which is basically what I've been saying at the end of every episode was bring me more. I think this was very well done. We got little hints of what's to come while not being too over the top or hitting too over the head. Like Scotty. He's there. We don't need to be too much about it.
Yeah, I liked the Scotty hand. Mm-hmm. Although I think we probably will get Scotty next season.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe just as a voice for a while, but
yeah, they did somewhere say that he's not the next engineer.
Oh, okay.
He's he's looking to unlock Miracle Worker. He hasn't unlocked it yet. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he can't be on the show though, as another engineer, but not the chief engineer.
That's also true.
Yeah. Reasonable.
But I'm kind of still hoping that let's keep Sulu and Scotty and McCoy and Kirk as much as possible. I enjoy this cast that is Strange New Worlds, and I'm not ready for a complete reboot of TOS. Let's not.
No,
let's
we don't
enjoy
need that.
Enjoy what we have. We got time.
This is the Scotty that quotes 4 hours to do a job, and it actually takes him 4 hours to do the job.
Yeah.
He hasn't learned that trick yet.
You're saying,
that's another piece of the weird timeline.
So it's interesting. We talking about how much Kirk we're going to get. I wonder now, So what we know of Kirk in the next season is we saw those scenes in Toronto, which we think are time travel. And we see him with La'an. Since it's time travel, is this alternate Kirk from this alternate Balance of Terror timeline with La'an, and not Kirk from...
Yeah. I mean, I hope not.
I hope not too, actually. But now I'm wondering.
I don't know how they would make that connection, but...
Yeah, fair enough. That was probably... That's just a weird idea that I just had that probably won't pan out.
Time travel is a trope that gets used a little... I think we lean on too much in Trek, and we need to just... let's just be where we are for a while.
Well, I think we're definitely going to get time travel next season, though.
Yeah.
We're going to get time travel with the Eugenics Wars, and that's how we're going to get Brent Spiner in it.
Right. Well, on that note... All right. Christos and Kevin, so nice to have you on today with us.
Thank you for having us on. It's been a lot of fun, and I'd love to do it again.
All right, well, you're on the list. Kevin, where can people find you if they want to talk to you on the interwebs or listen to you talk about other things?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Spartan_Phoenix. Of course, you can find me on Facebook as well. And, of course, I'm one of the hosts of Union Federation, our Star Trek and Orville podcast on the Fandom Podcast Network. And my co-founder, Kyle, and I, we... been starting the Fandom Podcast Network. We did that back in 2016, and now we got about 13 shows under the network umbrella. And being big Star Trek fans, we got to make sure it was well represented. So you can find us on the Fandom Podcast Network and Union Federation.
All right, thanks. Christos, where can people find you on the interwebs?
People can find me on Twitter and Instagram at GreekGeekSD. That's GreekGeekSD. And I'm also in the BQN Collective on Facebook.
All right. And Thad, where can people find you when you're not time traveling to tell your past self not to do something?
Oh, there's so many things I would tell my past self not to do. But you can find me on Twitter at Tyrannicus. That's Tyranicus. You can also hear me on License to Spiel, which is a podcast I do with my friend Carl about the James Bond films. That's license spelled with a C like the British do. And Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not being arrested for being genetically modified?
Yeah, they're pounding on the door right now. All right, well, in addition here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with Sloggies here on BQN, and that's a twice-weekly short history podcast that I do with my fellow historian partner Jason. Also happy to chat about our shows in the BQN Collective on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter at the Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where I tweet about Star Trek history and leftist politics, and sometimes all in the same tweet.
Don't forget all our other great shows on BQN podcasts like Galaxy Class, All Good Things, Mickey's Marvels, Union Federation, and History with the Szilagyi. And exclusive for our Patreon members, there's It's Green with Mark White and Amy's Math Moment.
Previously on BQN. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast.
God bless Anthony Montgomery. I salute that man. What a handsome, handsome man. And he is wearing skin-tight everything in this episode and leaves, especially when he's laying on the bed in sick bay after he falls, it leaves nothing to that imagination. Woo! Woo! Man, I need a fan in here. It's getting warm.
Galaxy Class, a Star Trek The Next Generation podcast.
Yeah, the feather boas got everywhere.
That's what when Joe was talking about the spray painting the hotel room, that's what I was thinking of. The cabin, our cabin on the cruise was just black feathers for the rest of the week everywhere. Open a cupboard we'd never even opened before, feathers. Like tribbles falling out on top of us.
Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast.
So whenever the Gorn come back to the breeding planets, whoever's left there is the best of the best. They pull them into society, teach them language, teach them how to be. And I'm guessing it's a very structured and you don't make a lot of mistakes or you get eaten society. But if they're that intelligent and they've been genetically designed to do this, and perhaps that's another reason why they can spit and put eggs in people now. It's a genetic, well, okay, venom sacky egg, whatever you want to call it. They can goo on you and you can suddenly have eggs in you because perhaps they've genetically... that's not better. That's not better.
No, that was perfect.
All right. They can somehow make you a breeding sack.
You will find these and more of your favorite podcasts on BQN.
And thank you so much for tuning into Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Tony Robinson for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
If you want to reach out, you can find the network on Twitter at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. On our next episode, I have no idea what we'll be talking about, because we don't know when new Star Trek is coming. So, we're going to take a little bit of a break, but we will be back when Star Trek is back. Until then, peace and long life.